All right, so you're ready to build your dream home. It is, without a doubt, one of the most exciting things you will ever do. But before you get lost in the fun stuff, picking out countertops and light fixtures, there is one absolutely critical first step. It's the true foundation of your entire project. We're talking about the land survey, and today we're going to break down exactly why it's so important.
And let's just get this out of the way right now. This isn't a friendly suggestion, it's pretty much a golden rule. Getting this one step right can be the difference between a smooth, exciting build and a total nightmare that costs you a fortune. It's completely non-negotiable.
So first up, let's talk about why we call this the bedrock of your build. It's so much more than just a piece of paper or some formality to check off a list. This is the core data that everything else, and I mean everything else, is going to depend on.
Here's a great way to think about it. Your architect creates the blueprints for the house, right? Well, the land survey is the blueprint for the land itself. It's the official document that protects your investment, prevents you from getting into nasty fights with your neighbors, and just makes the whole process go smoothly.
Okay, so that brings us to the big why. Why is this step so critical? I mean, can't you just kind of look at the fence line or that row of trees and figure it out? Well, no, and there are some very, very compelling reasons why that's a terrible idea.
I love this quote because it really reframes things perfectly. A survey isn't a cost, it's an investment. In fact, you could argue it's the single most important investment you'll make before a single shovel of dirt is even moved.
The why really boils down to these three massive pillars. First, it legally establishes what you actually own. Second, it's required by pretty much everyone with a checkbook or a stamp of approval. And third, it literally tells your design team how and where to build your house. Let's dig into each of these.
First up, legal boundaries. You do not want to get this wrong. Imagine building a brand new, beautiful driveway, only to find out the real property line is 5 feet over, and you just paved part of your neighbor's yard. That's called encroachment, and it means you're tearing out thousands of dollars of concrete. A survey prevents that entire headache.
Second, and this is a big one, you literally can't build without it. Full stop. The local planning department that issues building permits? They need one. The bank that's giving you the mortgage? You bet they need one. The title insurance company protecting your ownership? They won't touch it without a certified survey.
And finally, we have design. This is where it gets really practical. A specific type of survey, a topographic one, maps out all the slopes and hills on your land. That information tells your architect if you can have a walkout basement, where water is going to drain away from your house, and what the best, most gentle slope for your driveway is. It lets you work with your land, not fight against it.
Okay, so you're convinced. But now you might be asking, which survey do I even get? Well, the term land survey isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. There are actually a few different types, and knowing which one you need is key.
Here's a quick look at the main players. For new home construction, you're almost always going to start with a 1-2 punch. A boundary survey to define your lines, and a topographic survey to map the terrain. The ALTA survey is kind of the gold standard, super detailed, and sometimes your lender will require it. And construction staking? That comes later, when they put physical stakes in the ground to show the builders exactly where to dig.
So once the surveyor has worked their magic, they'll hand you this official-looking document called a plat. And I'll be honest, at first glance, it can look like a secret code with all its lines and symbols. But trust me, once you know what you're looking for, it's actually pretty simple to read.
Think of this as your personal decoder ring for the survey plat. You want to find your property lines and corners, obviously, but pay special attention to things called easements and building setbacks. We're going to talk more about those in a sec. You'll also see where utilities are, the slope of the land, and any potential flood zones.
Okay, let's talk about easements, because this one trips up a lot of people. An easement basically gives someone else, like the utility company, the legal right to access a specific strip of your land. So if you have a utility easement running across your backyard, you absolutely cannot build a permanent shed or a deck on top of it, period. Knowing this up front is huge.
And here's the other big one, setbacks. These are rules from your local government that say your house has to be a certain distance away from your property lines. All these setback lines create an invisible box on your lot, and that's called your building envelope. Your entire house has to fit inside that box, and the survey is what shows you exactly how big that box is.
All right, we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get down to brass tacks and talk about the how. What do you actually do next? Let's get into a clear action plan and answer a few of the most common questions people have.
And of course, this is always the first question, right? You're putting together a budget and you need to know, what's this going to set me back? For a typical new home on a pretty standard lot, you can generally expect to pay somewhere in the ballpark of $1,000 to maybe $2,500. And yeah, that's real money. But when you put it in the context of the total cost of a house, it's a tiny price to pay for the massive security and peace of mind it gives you.
Okay, here's another point of confusion. You'll hear people use the terms plot plan and survey almost interchangeably, but they are fundamentally different things.
Here is the absolute best analogy. The land survey is the blank canvas. It's the official, legally binding measurement of the land itself. The plot plan, that's the painting. It's the drawing your architect makes of the house you plan to put on that canvas. The plot plan is based on the survey. You can't have one without the other.
Ah, this is a tempting one. You buy a piece of land, the previous owner hands you a survey from 10 years ago, and you think, great, I can save a little money here. But can you?
The answer, in no uncertain terms, is no, you can't. For one, an old survey could be inaccurate. Things change over time. But more importantly, for all legal, financing, and permitting purposes, you need a new survey that is officially certified directly to you by a licensed professional. It's a liability thing.
So, what do you do right now? It's actually super simple. First, find a licensed professional land surveyor. The best place to start? Ask your builder for a referral. They'll know who's good. And second, and this is key, do it early. Make this one of the very first calls you make on your home building journey.
So, when it all comes down to it, a survey isn't just an expense you have to deal with. It really is an investment. It's an investment in clarity, so you know what you're working with. It's an investment in precision, so your builders get it right. And it's an investment in security, giving you peace of mind that your dream home is being built on a truly solid, well-defined foundation.